Now to a CNN exclusive. Sources tell CNN's Jamie Gangel that conservative heavyweight Matt Schlapp is agreeing to a hefty settlement to end a sexual assault lawsuit, even though the accuser is claiming there was not a payout from Schlapp. CNN's Jamie Gangel broke the story and joins the panel. Can you explain that, Jamie?
Okay, so here we go. What we have learned is, in fact, there was a payment to settle this suit, that it was $480,000, almost $500,000. It is a significant payout in a case like this. It was paid by an insurance company on behalf of Schlapp and the ACU. That is the important distinction here. So it's also notable because when Schlapp and his legal team announced that it had been dismissed, they made it sound as if he had been exonerated and cleared. He made a statement saying, from the beginning, I asserted my innocence. He did an interview that made it sound as if he had been cleared. He posted something on Twitter, which has now been deleted. I think what they did was they were trying to do a PR move, what they thought was clever the first day, and make it sound as if he had been exonerated, when in fact he had not.
So let's take a step back. You have done some reporting on this as well, to why this happened in the first place, about the allegations, the text messages, and other evidence that I know that you, just like you have as well, reported in the past.
Well, and not only this allegation being exceptionally well documented in
Which is, can you explain what the allegation is?
That it was a campaign staffer for the Walker Senate campaign in 2022 who said that when he was assigned to drive Matt Schlapp to a campaign event, they went out drinking that night, and that Matt Schlapp groped him without his consent, which is something that Schlapp denies. But that was corroborated by text messages between them at the time and the staffers' accounts to a handful of people on that day, all of whom confirmed it. Not only that, we found out in the course of the litigation, if this case had gone to trial, there were depositions taken of previous accusations that the CPAC board and officers were aware of, that were reported to them, 2 previous instances where Schlapp allegedly made unwanted sexual advances.
Jamie.
So one of the important things that Isaac has raised is the contemporaneous witnesses. There were already a lot of depositions taken in this case, and there were some upcoming depositions that I am told could have been very damaging and embarrassing for Matt Schlapp. One of the things, Carlton Huffman, who was making the allegations, he reported this in real time to the campaign manager for Herschel Walker, who we interviewed at the time of the allegations. I spoke to him again recently. They thought the allegations were credible. They also pointed out that Matt Schlapp, who they knew, never called them and pushed back on any of it.
I mean, extraordinary reporting, and that is a lot of money. I want to make a turn, staying with Republican politics, to a story that you have today, and I'm just going to get your views on it, and that is the very intense push by Republicans to try to catch up with the notion of their voters getting out to organize for early and mail voting. They're trying to do that despite pushback from, once again, the guy at the top of the ticket, or will be Donald Trump. I'm going to read from his piece and Isaac's piece. Republican officials privately say whether Republican voters adapt to early in-person and mail voting could swing the 2024 election in closely contested states, but those efforts remain in tension with the fraud claims that animate Trump and the grassroots movement. It's not just, if I may, the tension and fraud claims that are coming from within. It's what Donald Trump is still saying on the stump. Let's listen to that.
Mail-in voting is totally corrupt. Get that through your head. It has to be. The votes, I mean, it has to be. If you have mail-in voting, you automatically have fraud. If you have
okay, well, there's mail-in voting in Florida, and you won huge.
That's right. If you have it, you're going to have fraud.
But
It used to be 1 day. Now it's 40 days and 45 days and 48 days.
This is the mass mail-out ballots, yeah.
The ballots are a disaster. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, anytime you have mail-out or mail-in, they call them different names. Anytime the mail is involved, you're going to have cheating.
How are Republican voters going to square that circle?
Well, I think they're going to listen to Donald Trump. That has been historically what they've been doing since he became the leader of the Republican Party. The saboteur of the Trump campaign's get out the vote efforts is the candidate, Donald Trump himself. Because if he gives up on the idea that mail-in balloting is inherently fraudulent, it's something you can't police or take care of, that means he has to give up the central point that he makes about the 2020 campaign, that it was stolen from him because of this.
And his entire campaign, since he launched it, has been about the fact that 2020 was stolen, that false claim. And, you know, mail-in voting has been so key prior to Donald Trump to success for Republicans. I mean, not just in states like Florida, states like Arizona, Utah, you name it. And it's something that I've talked to, you know, Republican strategists in some of those swing states like Arizona who are just frustrated because they feel as though, you know, they would be able to get more voters to come out and vote if the leader of their party weren't attacking this very democratic mechanism for voters to cast their ballots.
Which is the crux of your piece.
Right, exactly. The party line, meaning the RNC, is that we can believe two things at the same time. We can believe that we don't like mail-in ballots, and when we get back in power, we're going to take them away because we don't trust them. But until we get there, and as long as we have that system, we have to play by those rules. They think that they say that Republicans can believe both things at the same time. When you talk to voters, I don't know that they do. And you talk to Republican canvassers who are going door to door asking Republicans to mail in their ballots and saying, I don't trust the mail.
This is the chaos and the ego of Donald Trump here. A GOP source said to me, I read your piece this morning, and I called a strategist, and he said, Earth One to Donald Trump, reality check. Those votes can help you win.
It's pretty good. All right, thank you so much to all of you.